Power fans, buckle up. Because the Power Book 4, Force Season 3 Episode 4 promo just dropped, and this is where everything changes. Alliances break. Blood is spilled. And Tommy Egan? He's about to face a betrayal deeper than any bullet. You cross me, you better finish the job. The promo opens with chaos. Blue lights flashing, feds raiding spots, gang meetings interrupted. Tommy's empire is slipping, and he knows it's not his enemies causing it, it's someone inside his circle. Tommy says, "I ain't in a war. I'm surrounded by one." Diamond is questioning everything. Claudia is quietly making her biggest power move yet. Miguel Garcia is building silent alliances in places Tommy can't see. And D-Mac? His loyalty is being tested, and the streets are starting to change him. Episode 4 isn't just about moves. It's about survival. Shocking twist, the secret meetings. The trailer teases something we did not expect. We see Claudia meeting secretly with Miguel. We hear Diamond say, "Tommy ain't the only one who wants to be king." And then, the biggest shocker, Blanca Rodriguez returns with a case file labeled, Thomas Egan. Informant activity. The promo hints at a secret from Tommy's past, something he's been hiding that could destroy his entire empire if it comes out. But is it real, or just a setup? What to expect in Episode 4? Brace yourself, because Episode 4 will deliver a deadly ambush, but it's not who Tommy expects. A major flip, someone switches sides, permanently. D-Mac goes deeper into the game, possibly making a life-changing decision. Claudia may finally step into full villain mode. The mole inside Tommy's operation. One step from being revealed. The final shot of the promo, chilling, Tommy stands alone, staring at a burning warehouse. "I built this, now I'll burn it down if I have to." Episode 4 is not just about territory, it's about betrayal, legacy, and choosing sides. Drop your theories, who's the real mole? Will Claudia betray Tommy? Is D-Mac about to become the next ghost, or the next target? Smash like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because on this channel, we don't just watch Power. We break it down. The dull hour of this episode was worth it for the final 5 minutes. The revelation of a snake, Diamond and Janet's disbelief, and Tommy's realization that he is more out of the loop than he ever knew all caused gasps and giggles in my home. 10 out of 10, it was the ideal conclusion. During the 3rd episode of Season 3, I began to wonder if everyone was competing to see who could make the most foolish choice this season. Even though it's entertaining, some of the things these people are doing don't quite make sense to me. So far this season, it's just stupid decision. However, occasionally you have to toss spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks, or something similar. Tommy has always been unpredictable. Even though he might be the smartest person in the room, we've seen him get into some risky situations on multiple occasions due to his emotions. Not to mention that his narcissism frequently prevents him from seeing beyond his narrow perspective. Tommy is so close to achieving his goal of taking over Chicago and controlling the entire city in a manner he was never able to achieve in New York that he can't see anything else. His antics thus far this season have done nothing to strengthen the coalition, which is one of the many moving parts that must cooperate to reach that finish line. Rather, they have further polarized gangs that have no interest in engaging in a cartel conflict. Tommy is not helped at all by gangs leaving the coalition because no one wants to show up like Chavo. Both he and Diamond acknowledged that they are in need of bodies. Nevertheless, Tommy has persisted in pursuing Ortega and advancing his own agenda at every opportunity, which is great for him but not so great for everyone else, rather than upholding and strengthening that coalition. Tommy has a right to get his luck back since Ortega has already attempted to kill him multiple times, and I can see why he would want retribution. But once more, Tommy is only thinking about himself. He has the ability to rise to the top of the food chain. I firmly believe that. However, he won't arrive by himself. At the end of the day, he'll need CBI and others, and these actions aren't exactly winning him over. Even though, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend" seems to be the title of the game at the moment, I have no idea. Tommy's decision to join the Serbs seemed foolish on paper, and I don't think working with them will be beneficial in the long run because, like all the other gangs, they are opportunistic. But because they both detested Ortega, it worked here. Tommy is the one who takes things a step further by murdering the man's uncle. That will undoubtedly be well received and have no long-term repercussions for him or anyone else he is connected to. Definitely not, when Tommy wasn't hurling elderly men from buildings, he was also attempting to protect Mireia while she was out there making, you guessed it, poor choices. Other than the fact that I don't think Mireia and Tommy make an amazing power couple, I have nothing against her. Overnight, their relationship went from being light-hearted and flirtatious to, "I would die for you," and I'm still not impressed. Mireia spent her entire life avoiding her brother's way of life, but now she's in the middle of it, acting incredibly innocent. Miguel did more than simply reprimand her for dating a man he didn't like. He went too far and only gave in when she threatened to harm herself. At that point, he realized that if he didn't make amends and act behind her back, he would lose his sister forever. Naturally, she is unaware of this, but given her familiarity with Miguel and Tommy's methods, she finds it hard to accept that either of them has called a real ceasefire. With egos the size of the Chicago River and sadistic tendencies, they are two sides of the same coin. Would they really sacrifice their goals, which are in direct opposition to each other, for her? I suppose I can understand why she would want to believe it when I say it aloud. She would like to think that the two men she loves so much would also put her ahead of business issues, but once more, she would be foolish to think that these two could ever live in harmony. She can't be making demands of them if she is aware of that, since doing so will only lead to disappointment. Even though it might not happen until the very end of the season, that disappointment is on the horizon. With every hour that goes by, I become more and more certain that Tommy and Mireia will not have a happy ending. However, since that doesn't seem to be the direction this season is taking, they won't be the only ones who don't get to ride off into the sunset. If I had to bet on any characters dying, it would be a mix of D-Mac, Vic, and Claudia, with D-Mac currently holding the top spot. Although D-Mac has always been the worst, something about him in Power Book 4 Season 3 seems to be hitting even harder. He doesn't know when to stop or how to think outside of the streets, and he is incredibly stubborn. I wonder where he gets that from. He doesn't need to be alive to survive, but that is true for many members of the greater Power ecosystem. Tommy is right there with him. Tommy would stop at nothing to keep his remaining small family safe. However, D-Mac's greatest desire is to emulate Tommy, Diamond, and Janet. His desire to be respected and feared on the streets will ultimately result in his death. Since the beginning, Diamond's plan to murder D-Mac has been absurd, because why doesn't he carry out the murder himself? Simply kill him after luring him out somewhere. Given what's going on in the streets, you could literally blame anyone at this point, and there would be no witnesses. In addition to Diamond and Janet consistently underestimating D-Mac, who has occasionally shown that he is not very intelligent, the intricate plan involving the 9/7s was just excessively complicated for no apparent reason. Nevertheless, he will not compromise on anything. I'll give him credit for setting himself up for success by going into that ambush with all of his ducks in a row. They were actually doing well until the gunfight started, at which point you could tell that one of the unfortunate men who had entered last night would perish.